Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Razzle dazzle, razzle dazzle. I had to have me some coffee. I'm trying to stay awake. So I get 4 days off. And we are gonna dye some yarn. I'm just gonna use the colors that I have. We'll do some experimenting because I haven't gotten my order yet for the rest of the dyes and the chemicals. So we're just gonna play around and see how it goes while I have some time off. I've been wrapping little mini skeins of the acrylic. I've got over 50 so far. I bought another rack. And I've been buying the shower curtain, little shower curtain holders for the yarn to keep it in place. And I've seen people putting them in the oven, so hopefully that'll be okay. A lot of people do the zip ties, but I just thought with these I can reuse them and it's not being wasteful with the plastic, as long as they don't melt in the oven. So fingers crossed it doesn't melt in the oven, because I have to have it at 200 degrees. So I'm making my mini skeins, and I've been wrapping. Hardcore wrapper here. Rappity wrap wrap, rappity wrap wrap. Been using this box here, and I'm taking my yarn and I'll wrap it around this box 150 times, and it is a little bit over 150 yards because this is wider than 36 inches all the way around. So it actually comes out to about, I think it's 155 yards. So there's a little extra there. Which might be a good thing too, because I've been really watching the knots, trying to make sure, I don't get any of those where it's cut, and I've been trying. So, there might be one, but for the most part, I'm trying to stay away from that and keep it all one piece. Maybe I should show off my cashmere again. Get all my cashmere yarns that I dyed in the past. So these are my cashmeres that I hand dyed. And they're little mini skeins. These are 100 grams, and it's very thin. It's like thread. But I hand dyed these, and these are cashmere. And these I actually wrapped smaller. These are really small. But that's kind of how you wrap a mini skein. That one's a purple one. And the colors, they never show up right. You try to play with these lights to get that color to show. I don't know, but it's really pretty in person. And sometimes too with the different dyes, you get a shine. And this one's got a little bit of a shine to it. But of course the camera's not going to pick it up. But that's a really pretty purple color. I think it's got like purple, blue, pink. And that one's a blue, and it's got like brown tones. And then I did some that are just solids. There's a green and yellow mix. And this one's got like a pink and green, peachy looking colors. So yeah, these are like my cashmere that I dyed the last time. So dyeing animal fibers is a lot easier than doing acrylic. I'm gonna roll. I'm just gonna roll. I've been standing on my feet all day, so I finally get to sit down and relax. I'll just kind of put them in there for now. But what I'm making with that cashmere is I'm going to make a poncho, a child size poncho. So I'm working on these granny squares. I got 2 panels done. And we're going to do a little poncho. So I have to make 4 of these panels, and this is like lace. Super tiny work. Insane, takes forever. And I might put another color in it too. I don't know yet. So I have to do 4 panels, and it's gonna be a child size poncho. Probably toddler size. Like once I get these panels done and put the panels together, I can add more down at the bottom to make it longer. But yeah, this is taking a super long time because, yeah, see, this is basically working with thread and using a super tiny hook. And then too, with this, I'm probably going to have to get a blocker and block it. So, it's like I can set it to, because it's very stretchy. And usually they have this thing, it's called blocking. So your squares are straight and they're not wonky. So I'm probably going to have to get a blocker. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I am. So it stays flat because it's got like a little bubble in the center. So I have to stretch it and set it flat. Do some blocking. So that's another item on my list. That, and I need to get a better ball winder. I got a little mini one, which it works good for the tiny little yarns and threads, but not so good with the acrylic. So I'm going to have to get a bigger ball winder. So I figured we could go through my box of dies that I have. The ones that I still have from my collection. And I do have the Cushing's colors. I had to buy this color chart here, and it gives you all the different colors of dyes that you can get with the Cushing's. And these are fairly cheap for experimenting with colors. But even they have a back order. I ordered, which one did I order that was on? Let's see. Nile green. Yeah. See, I was trying to order the Nile green, and it's this very light green color. Right there. And they were out. So I just told her, you know, I'll just order what you have on stock. And then they're going to get some more in like 2 to 3 weeks. So I have to wait 2 to 3 weeks to get this color because it's on back order. So a lot of the different dyes are starting to get harder to get because everybody's starting to dye their own yarns because you can't go to a yarn store to get yarn anymore. I mean, all we have is Michael's and Hobby Lobby now. Those are like the only two, as far as franchises, that carry yarn. And Walmart. But you all know what Walmart looks like. And Walmart is the closest store that I have. And then it takes me about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour to go to the Michael's and then the Hobby Lobby. That's about an hour drive for me. And then there's just not much of a selection, or I don't know. I'm just not happy with the store. Mostly Michael's. I'm not happy with the store. Never really was. But they do have an amazing jewelry section. If you go into Michael's, the beads that they have for the jewelry, gorgeous display. Like, I would also switch up my craft and do beading and make necklaces, because that kind of helps too. Like, you get bored with certain things and you switch it up for a little bit. So I was also into jewelry and bead making, and their jewelry section is astounding. It's gorgeous. So that's a good thing about Michael's, because I was really into that. But I'm just not happy with the way they have things set up. It's just I don't know. It's times are changing, I guess. Things are getting to be more advanced and everybody just pretty much orders online. But the thing is, with ordering online, you can't get that personal experience with an item to see if you really want it or not. I mean, you have to stare at a picture and hit the buy now button. Like, you don't have a hands-on, so you don't know if you really are going to enjoy that item or not. Unless you buy it and then you have to try it. And when it's something that's expensive and, you know, that makes it difficult. But you can't get the hands-on to see if you would actually want to use it or buy it. And my brain works that way. You know, I want to be able to look at the item, check the quality, you know, see if I like the colors, because let's face it, seeing colors with your own eyes is different from seeing a picture of an item with those colors, because everybody sees differently with their eyesight, and especially when it comes to colors. Isn't that amazing? Colors can change. It depends on your eyes and how your thought processes the colors. So one person might see it as a lighter shade or a brighter shade. So the shades are different with everybody's eyesight. And I think too, the cameras don't pick up the right colors at all. I mean, you can use all the natural light, whatever type of light, and it's just not going to pick up the color like it would just seeing the actual item in person. Anyways, I figured we'd go through my die so I can keep a list of what I got. But the Cushings come in these little packages, which is really nice. It's really nice when they come in these little packages. This one's khaki drab. Khaki drab. And of course, I'm going to have to get me a mask when I go to play with the powders. But I just want to kind of show. Now, they might have changed their prices on these. I don't know. Like, some dyes are more expensive than others because of some are just harder colors to get. But they come in these tiny little packages like that, and it makes quite a bit. But this is the amount. This is what? I think they're just 1 ounce or 1/3 of an ounce. See, what's really nice too is they have instructions on each package. And then there's how much it cost. $3.25 for this little package, but it goes a long ways. You can do a lot with that. So there's khaki drab. There's apricot. Silver gray green. Red grape. Silver gray. So I really like Cushings because of the fact that they're just small little packages. There's lemon. Bright purple. We'll definitely have to keep that in the die in my, yeah, that's one. Bright purple. So I can see that. And then where did I put my, Here we go. So I can look back at my chart to see what that color was on there. Bright purple. So right there, it'll show me what that color looks like. The bright purple. So that's really handy to have when you're getting these little packets. Bronze green, mahogany, taupe, royal blue, and cardinal. So those are the colors that I have in the Cushings. And like I said, I ordered more. Said I'll be getting out on Tuesday, but I was like, well, isn't that how the world works? I get 4 days off and I have to wait till the day I go back to work on Tuesday, and that's when I'm gonna get my dye. So I'm gonna go back to work, and then I have to wait, and then I'm gonna get my dye order when I'm at work. Like, that's how life works too when ordering things online. You don't know how long it's gonna take for you to get the item. It could be 2 weeks, it could be 3 weeks, it could be an entire month. I know when I've bought stuff off of Temu, it takes about a month for me to get the items. So you have to wait a super long time, and you have to try and be very patient. So that's what I have of the Cushings. The Cushings dye. And these are all acid. So these are all acid dyes. Because I looked it up with the acrylic. It says acid is the best to use for acrylic. Even though the acrylic is super hard to dye. And we still have to experiment with it. Okay, this is a country classic. This one's raspberry. See, these ones are more expensive, aren't they? Oh, this wasn't too bad. Okay. See, I think too, maybe these I've had for a while, so they might have gone up in price. I think some of the Cushing's dye is going up to like $4 now. They always jack up the price nowadays. So I've had these for quite a few years when I was first experimenting. So this is 3 ounces in the Country Classic for $7.75. That's a pretty good size jar. And there's chili pepper. That raspberry might be nice. Might have to keep the raspberry out. That's probably got like a... There's terracotta. Ooh, this Wedgwood. So this Wedgwood is a very pretty color. I do like it. I only have half a jar left. And this is G&K Craft Industries. Has a Wedgwood. And it's a very pretty color. It's dark. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. See, I don't have a, if I had a color chart, I could be able to show you the color. Not that the camera would be able to pick it up. There's another terracotta. I guess I was really big into the terracotta. Ooh, I got another Wedgwood. I got two Wedgwoods. That's how much I liked it. See, I do that a lot. I don't think I really cared for the terracotta. I don't know. But I really like the Wedgwood. I love that color. Everybody's different, you know. You have your own colors you like. Twilight. That is a beautiful blue color. That is one of my favorite blue colors. I love that color. I'm putting that in my pile. Juniper. I'm guessing that's kind of like a green color. I went through this. There's not a whole lot left in it. Coral Reef Aqua. These are pretty expensive, but the colors are beautiful. But there's not a whole lot left in that. But it's a very pretty color. There's pink sand. It's like a really light pinky color. Caramel or caramel. I call it caramel. But my husband always says it's caramel. Whatever, it's caramel. Oh, I got a couple of the caramels. I like my caramel apples. He likes caramel apples. There's turquoise. See, I'm a blue person. I like the blues. This one's toffee. So obviously I like the browns because I got a lot of browns. There's a spearmint, which is a super pretty color. That's nice. Yeah, I like spearmint. Wild iris. That's a very pretty color. Wild iris. That's a purple. We got purple colors. So I got a few purple colors here. Two purples. And two pink colors. And then I do have the Rit dye. I have a couple of Rit dye colors. And then I also wanted to try using acrylic paint. I got the metallic acrylic paint, and I want to see what that does. But I think I'm going to water it. Like, I'm going to water down the acrylic paint, like, with the water and alcohol, like the 70% alcohol. I want to mix those into that acrylic paint to make it into a dye with the metallic. It was a little pricey. The metallics are a little bit more expensive than the regular acrylics, but it's got that shine and it's got that shimmer. And I don't know what it's going to do to the yarn. You know, if it's going to keep that kind of shiny metallic in there. I don't know how that's going to work out. So I think tomorrow we need to experiment with the metallic acrylic paint on the acrylic yarn. I think so. But anyways, I probably got I got over 50 of these mini hanks wrapped. I might try and make a couple more for tomorrow because I'm going to go down in the kitchen and get my recipe figured out. And then I'm going to soak these for overnight when I wake up in the morning, which I usually wake up around 4 o'clock. And that's me sleeping in because usually I wake up at 3 o'clock. So I'm probably going to wake up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. Depends on how tired I am. If I'm super tired, I mean, I'm really excited about dyeing this yarn. But yeah, I think I'm going to get my recipe for the soaking of the yarn. And I'm using aluminum pans. They say not to use aluminum pans, the aluminum foil pans, but the type of pans that I need that are stainless steel are really expensive. And since I'm not doing this full time, we're just going to have to use the aluminum pans. They say, well, it changes the colors up a bit. And then using all of that citric acid and white vinegar, it will chew through your aluminum foil pans. You'll get holes. It'll start to leak and get all over your oven. But it usually takes a while for that vinegar to chew through it. So I think I'll be okay with using them for a while. They're temporary is what it is. It's a temporary solution. And then it said the aluminum might change the effect of the colors of the yarn. Which could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, but we won't know till we try. So this is what, like once I get this all pretty and everything, this is what my mini Hank skein's gonna look like. And then we'll have to figure out what type of label and packaging I'm gonna do. But this is 150 yards. So it's like a little mini skein. And this is gonna be nice because here's my idea, guys. Here's the idea I have. Okay. This is what happened to me. Okay, I used to use Red Heart yarn. I used it for about 10 to 15 years. And I would go to Walmart and that's all I had was Red Heart yarn. And I got so sick and tired of getting the same colors over and over again. I mean, you know, you can only work with a color for so long and you get tired of it. It's like, you know, I only get one red. I only get maybe 3 different colors of blue. And then it's like that's what I get to work with for 10 to 15 years. The same colors. That's why I switched to Big Twist, because they have different colors. And it's pretty similar to Red Heart. It's just the colors are different. And I even think you might be able to mix Big Twist with Red Heart. I'm not sure. It's a possibility. I mean, you would have to check, but it would be pretty close. I took all of my Red Heart out of my collection and I gave it to my best friend Ashley. But I'm pretty sure it'd be close to the, because this is a medium 4. So it might be close. Okay, so like this is the color eggplant. So when I go to dye this, I mean it's the same yarn. I'm just going to dye a different color. And then you can use this to blend in a different color for an extra little pop in it. So yes, this was the idea I came up with. Something that's a hand-dyed yarn that you can use to blend with your Big Twist colors. Because it was really hard for me to get the variegated in the Big Twist. There weren't very many colors. I only have a certain amount of colors. Sorry, I've been moving stuff around. Like I was doing this to show this off, and then I have all of my yarn over here. It's a little bit of a mess, but yeah. There's my yarn. I've got a little bit of a mess I've been trying to hide from everybody. But it's over there. Let's see here. Okay, this one's really pretty. So I didn't get a whole lot of these because they didn't have very many of the variegated. So this is like a Rainbow Bright. Okay. It's got 269 yards. And they're very pretty. Manuela would love this color. It's got like a purple and pink. It's got some white and blues in it. But yeah, she would like that one. But there weren't very many. There weren't very many different colors in the variegated with these. So I thought, well, I can make my own. And then you blend it with your solid colors, so it makes it go further with your projects. Because I'm going to tell you, this is quite the process here, guys. And I'm going to try and do it as cheap as I can for everybody when I go to start my business. Like, I'm just beginning. So my husband's going to help me set up an LLC so I can actually have a business and I can start getting tax exemptions for running a small business. And I think too, I'm going to have to do this pretty much online, but I would like to do a lot of different craft shows as well. I haven't gotten that far yet. I'm just a baby. Yeah. Not too much of a bit. I'm a big baby. Okay, I've been doing this for a long time. For like 15, 20 years, because it was a very fun hobby and I just love it so much. I do it every day. It's really a passion of mine. I used to be a sewer. I used to be in sewing. I really enjoyed that. I was a hardcore sewer. I have 3 sewing machines. I was super hardcore into sewing and making dresses. I've made prom dresses. I made a wedding dress. I made a lot of little dresses for my daughter. So I was hardcore into sewing. But the thing with the sewing is just like sitting at a sewing machine got to be too much for me. And I wasn't enjoying it. I got burned out. Um, Geez, when did I start doing that? When I was in high school. Well, I was like 15 years old when I started sewing on the sewing machine and making a lot of things. I mean, I was making quilts. Yeah, I was really big into sewing. I switched it up with crochet because I can relax more. I can sit in front of my TV and my hands are busy, you know, but I don't have to just sit in front of a sewing machine and run it all the time. Yeah, but I was into it. I've done embroidery. I had a embroidery sewing machine, but I broke it. I have a lot of the old sewing machines. I have a Singer from 1930, and I have a Morse from 1950. The older sewing machines are amazing and way better than all of this new technology and gadgetry that they have. When it comes to the basics, I'm old school. Sorry, old school wins because all this high technology gadgetry stuff breaks. It's plastic and it breaks. Metal does not break. Not very often. And it's just made to last. I mean, my God. I have a sewing machine from 1930. I think like super close to when electricity was even invented. And it is the best sewing machine I've ever used. The coffee's kicking in, so I will just talk and talk. This is coffee from Peru. I had to switch it up. I was drinking French roast, which is like a super dark coffee. This one's a medium. It's not too dark, it's not too light. It's pretty good, but it comes from Peru. It's a different flavor. I like to do that with my coffees. Switch it up so I don't get so immune to the taste, for the taste buds and stuff with my coffee. Yeah, I'm super weird about that. So I'm going to try and get back on here tomorrow in the morning and we're going to play in the kitchen. I'm going to make my bath for my yarn. We're going to make a bath for it. I'm going to write the recipe down. I'm probably going to do it for a 5 gallon. And I'll do a recipe on that. So if you guys want to experiment with dyeing your yarn, Like I said, we're going to use all the things in there to make sure that we get the best that we can get. You know, we're going to put everything in it. I don't get my chemicals. I was going to get the Centriple and the Retain. I have to wait till Tuesday till I get that. But they said to use the Dawn dish soap and lots of salt. And those are the two substitutes for those chemicals. And I'm going to try to wash this in the washing machine on delicate to try and help, you know, make sure all the dye is rinsed out real good. And they have another thing called, it's like a fabric softener sheet, and I think you put it in your washing machine and it helps soak up the dye left over so things don't bleed in the washing machine. And they look like fabric softener sheets. I'm going to go check out Walmart too to see if I can get some of those. And then I also got fabric softener sheets that are fragrant free, so it doesn't have any perfume fragrance in it. And I got a fabric softener that's fragrant free, so it doesn't have any perfume smells. So it's not going to smell, you know, what do you call that? That flower smell. It's not going to do that because I got all the perfumes perfume free, you know. Yeah, so you want to make sure you get stuff that's perfume free because you don't want it smelling like flowers. That would be bad. Yeah. I mean, I have flowery stuff that I use here at home and it's nice because, you know, I don't mind it. But some people are very sensitive to perfumes and the smells. Everybody's different. So when you go to dye your yarn and you're planning on selling it, probably should go with something that's perfume free with no smelly goods. Yeah. That way, because people are allergic and stuff, it messes with their nose and it can make them sneeze a lot, or it can mess with your eyes. So you just have to be careful about that. But I'm going to let you guys go and start prepping up in the kitchen. We're going to be baking some yarn tomorrow in the kitchen. Alrighty, you guys have a good night. Bye.